There we are. Good deal. Hey, Scott. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. What's going on tonight? I just got home a few minutes ago, wolfed down my dinner, and now I'm looking for a funny hunting poem that goes back, I think, to the 70s. It's like, "Hi, Joy. How are you? Thanks for stopping in." I'm trying to look up this funny hunting poem that was like a timestamp hunting poem. It was hilarious. It was about all the things that could go wrong. Yeah? Where'd you go? Did you catch anything? You guys are out in Colorado. Did you fish on a stream or at a lake? Three snags, I was out. I hate it when that happens. What a nuisance. I hate losing lures. You know what I used to do when I had the gumption to do it? And the time? Lake Fork, Texas now. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, that's right. A while ago, you guys were planning on moving. That's right. Hmm. Yeah, what I used to do was when the water got low, like in August when we got a drought, I used to go back into the stream and look under the rocks, see if I could find my lures. Sometimes you can snap them out. Got retired and we bought property here. Oh, that's awesome. Texas. Texas is always trying to leave the Union. God, if they ever do, we're in a boatload of trouble. Pardon me for eating, but I just got home and I wolfed down dinner and now I'm having my cannoli and coffee. So yeah, I'm trying to find this hunting poem. I'm finding millions of them here, but not the one I was looking for. Darn it. It was really funny. It was like from the moment you get up in the morning on a hunting day and all the things that would go wrong. And I think it was from the 70s. I mean, I'm not finding anything. I'm finding stuff like Hunter's Garden, Hunter's Prayer. Yeah, especially with coffee, right, Joy? It's pretty delish. Numerous hunting stories and poems. Christ, I could look forever. I know somebody who's more familiar with it than I am, but I'm not sure if I'm going to find him online right now. I think he's probably working. So I have new devices. Thank goodness. My old Samsung S9 Plus was getting old and slow, and it was running out of room. I was finding ways to make room in it without spending money, but that can only go so far. And the iPad, I'm using it for school and for work. And boy, every time I turn around, somebody wants me to download a bunch of files. I'm like, oh my God, my iPad's going to explode. It's not going to make it much longer. And the service here got crappy. I had Sprint, and it was really good. Oh, did I find it? No, I didn't find it. Until June, when they merged with T-Mobile. Now, I left T-Mobile years ago because, as far as I'm concerned, if I had a job at the FCC, I would shut them down in a heartbeat. They shouldn't even be in the communications business. So I left them years ago and I went to Sprint. Sprint was good, wasn't perfect. And then they merged earlier this year in June, and it was like, just cut us right off. Oh, thank you, Joy. I appreciate it. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for some semi-identifying that vehicle at that in the video that I did recently this week. Something about it just said it looked like a truck. That was a real good call. I forgot what you said it was. But that was, I know I said it looked like it got washed down the stream, but it was oh, stop now. It was what do you call it? Probably driven in there long, long time ago. On the way out, I found that road. What was it you said it was? Wasn't too long ago. Yeah, thanks, Joy, again, because because my internet was so bad. Now it's solid. I have Verizon, and everything is right where it's supposed to be. And that's one of the reasons why I don't advertise the lives too far ahead of time, because I got into this bad habit where I had no idea if I was going to have any connection or not. But now I don't have to worry about it, so I can do them as far ahead as possible. I have to comment here somewhere, Tom, about that truck out in the woods. For some reason, it seemed to disappear. So Mark J. Larson, he caught himself a bunch of raccoons, got them out of the way, and he caught a coyote. Real nice looking coyote. I don't know if you saw his last. Oh yeah, Chevy Apache. Cool. Real cool. That was pretty par for the course when you're out around these parts. You can't get as remote as the Sierras, that's for certain, but it still makes it interesting. Tom, you just have to excuse me. I'm still eating some of my dinner. This is my cannoli. Hey, Joy, do you know how to eat a cannoli? You don't pick it up. You take your fork and you beat the crap out of it into little tiny pieces so you can eat it in a civilized manner with a fork. I didn't want to pick it up and eat it in a live stream because that, to me, that's a little too suggestive, I think, anyways. So we had some snow flurries tonight. Had to head out a little while ago to pick up my dinner. Is it snowing in Pennsylvania, Tom? Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you watching it. Chevy Apache. I should look that up. Now I can do that. I don't have to wait. And I haven't seen a buffering circle in a long time. Hey, Mark. How you doing tonight? Thanks for stopping in. You'll have to excuse me while I finish my dinner. I was running kind of late tonight, and I'm finishing up my cannoli with some coffee. So sorry, but I just got to do it. Got to eat it. I was starving. I just waited too long today. Yeah, cannoli and coffee. I love my coffee. Okay, so Tom, you said that was a Chevy Apache. I just want to look it up, see what it looked like when it was running. You could probably get that one running. The one that was in the stream. Just put the gas tank back on. Give it a little miracle oil. It should be just fine. So can I get an image? You know what? Wow, look at that. That's quite a vehicle, man. That's a load of metal on that sucker. You know what though? That looks like a full-size truck for its time though. This one that was out there, it almost looked like a Japmobile. Hey Burnaby, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. Say cannoli one more time and I'm gonna have to sorry, Joy. I didn't come on here to cause trouble. Burnaby, I absolutely love your well, what do you call it? Your Gadsden flag there. I just love it. Tom, you know what? That's a beautiful truck. I'm seeing some beautiful, beautiful remakes here, renovations here. I'm gonna have to go look at that a little closer the next time I go into the woods. Who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. Something will pop out. I did get some advice from another hunter about that area, and he said, use those rocks to your advantage, those boulders. He said, hide behind them. He got a nice big turkey one time hiding behind one of those rocks out there. So I'm not out by the fire tonight because we're getting like 20 to 25 mile an hour gusts. And it's been like that all day. Yeah, that's a nice sized truck. Beautiful truck. I mean, his renovations I just saw. Oh my God. So yeah, no fireside chat tonight because of the wind. I didn't want everybody to have to witness me catching on fire or setting the yard on fire. And it just would have been a hassle because I've got the new tablet. I could have used the phone out there, but the new tablet doesn't have a case yet. I'm waiting for it to come in, and I got the student discount. Yeah, that's always nice. Um, so I don't have a reliable way to prop it up, and I don't want it falling because it's like a flagship one. Man, I got some awesome trade-ins. Look at this phone I got. This is the Samsung Z. Put it in the picture, you dummy. Samsung Z Flip, and it closes. Isn't that nice? And it's got a cool little camera on there. No, the camera is on here. Oh, let's see. Wait a minute. I'm still trying to figure this sucker out. See that? Isn't that nice? I think that's a polar bear. No, it's a sea turtle. I have no idea, but it's an analog style clock, and that's why I picked it. So yeah, it's a cool phone. Of course, it came in lavender. I love my colors, and the pop socket is really there. Just it's not for looks or anything. It's there or for selfies. It's there to hang in the car so I can use it for work. And I got my Avenza maps right out in front of me when I do my surveys when I'm out driving around. But I thought my old Samsung S9 Plus was just a piece of garbage, but it wasn't. It was an equal trade, and I'm just loving this phone. It's really a lot of fun. There's my kitty cat lock screen. So, and it's got like the touch, it reads your fingerprint, which it seems a little invasive, but I'm not gonna throw a fit about it. Oh, me too, Joy. And I absolutely love color. So my last phone was pink, and the outer box was clear with sparkles. Girl's got to be a girl, you know. I'm still watching for the cold front to get down here. Burnaby. Burnaby, where are you again? I can't remember. Were you down there in Florida? I know you're I know you're south of me. Those new screens are pretty cool, aren't they though? It's these have been around for about 4 years now. Let me see if I can turn that off. I don't know if you can see it, but you see how it bends? Now, when I told somebody I was going to pick this up, they said, "Well, you're going to get a crack in there." Well, if that happened, they wouldn't be out on the market. And if it does, then it's covered. We'll deal with it. South Texas. Oh, okay. I got an S20 thing. It's just a thing. You know what? I look at it like this. I They forced us into this stuff. We have no choice. I mean, who's got an old-fashioned copper landline anymore? I still have the old jack for one. Let's see, can you see it up here? Whoops, sorry about the light. See that right there? That is a phone line. It's a copper line that was probably put in nearly a century ago, and it would work in any apocalypse. But they decided to push us out of that, so we don't have a choice. So now you might as well have some fun, right? Got to use it. Got a super strong signal. It's 5G ready. Personally, between you guys, me, and the lamppost, I don't think 5G actually exists. I think 5G is just kind of a marketing thing. I think we're still all on 4G. I don't know. May even be 3G. I think they're just making this stuff up like so many other things. But I'm not going to worry about it. But my classes are all online. I need something that's going to work that quick, and I just can't deal with the. Hey John, how you doing tonight? You getting any snow up there? We got a few flurries. I don't know if anybody knows it, but I'm not going to give my exact position, but I'm near West Point, New York, and I'm basically right on the Hudson. So the Hudson River changes our environment. In fact, you can watch a thunderstorm come out of the west and pass over town, and as it gets over the Hudson, all of a sudden, just like that, it goes berserk. I mean, it completely changes like the whole chemical makeup, or well, I don't know if it's chemical, atmospheric pressures and the barometers and readings and everything. It probably go. I would love to measure a storm when it goes over the Hudson, because I mean, it can go from a normal summer thunderstorm to this fierce horror of a storm, and then it passes over the Hudson and it calms down again. It's very interesting. You don't see, Tom, what are you talking about? Am I cutting in and out? Can't be. Okay, what did I miss? Oh, who's my carrier? I'm gonna have to go back. Who's your carrier? I'm pretty happy with you. Really? I hate T-Mobile. I hate them. I hate them. They need to get out of the communications business, because as soon as they merged with Sprint, or took over Sprint or whatever, that's when all my trouble started. I went to Verizon. I had a Verizon landline. Oh, I see what you're saying, Tom. Okay. 5G sucks. I don't think it makes any difference. I think it's still 4, and like I said, it could still be 3 for all we know. Everything's marketing. Marketing comes first. That's 99% of the game. Yeah, I hope you're doing a lot better with the Burnaby. I hope you're doing better with T-Mobile than I am. It's terrible. But I do have to say, not in their defense, but I do have to say that my devices were starting to age. In fact, the Samsung S9 Plus is going on 5 years old, and it was constantly used. I mean, I use that thing for everything. So, in fact, it was used so much that it had screen burn. Has anybody seen screen burn on their phone? It's a you kind of get like when it's lit up, you kind of get like a line, almost like a rosy line over 3/4 of the screen, and there's no way to fix it. I actually looked it up when it happened, and they say, oh yeah, you do a Google search, whatever. Oh, there's videos that you can play, and it's a succession of primary colors that flash on the screen, and it's supposed to fix it. And I did it for like 1 second. I was like, the hell with this. I'm not worried about it. I can deal with it. Verizon left town about. Did they really? Burnaby, do you know why? Verizon was in a big lawsuit with the FCC and the Public Service Commission about 4 years ago. And the reason I know that is because all of a sudden they put static on my line. Don't call me a conspiracy theorist, because I know they did. Never had a problem with a copper landline before. So they put static online. I knew they did it. So I started investigating it. I sent in complaints to the Public Service Commission and the FCC. I got a call from the FCC, and they said, "Oh yeah, well we've got Verizon in a big class action lawsuit right now because what they were doing." Uh, does anybody know why though? Why Verizon is leaving? Um, so back to the FCC and the Public Service Commission of Verizon story. The guy from the FCC called me and he said, "Yeah, we're in a big class action lawsuit with them because not many people know this. There are a lot of unknown laws out there, but it is against the law to deprive anyone the right to any type of communication, and that includes the phones." So when they, "Hey Jefferson Einstein, how you doing tonight? Thank you for stopping in. I'm talking about a class action lawsuit against Verizon from a few years ago." So the static stopped, the service went back to perfect, and I got to be honest with you, I kind of missed party lines. They were kind of interesting. So they what happened with that? I was able to keep my copper landline for 2 years without a problem. All of a sudden, one day, I get a letter, I think in October, this is going back about 5, 6 years, and it was from Verizon. They said, "On December 24th of this year, we will be shutting off your service for good." And in the meantime, they were coming to my house. Now, I live up a long dirt road in the woods, and they were coming to my house saying, who knows how many times I should have put a trail camera out, but who knows how many times they were here when I wasn't home. But a few times when I came home, I caught them in my yard. They were Verizon techs, and they were going up and down the road and all through town, putting in the stupid, crazy BIOS with their stupid battery backup that means absolutely nothing. And I would see them at the house, like, "What are you doing here? Why are you trespassing? Who are you? Get out of here." And they said, "Oh yeah, we're from Verizon, and you're going to get BIOS." "No, I'm not. Get out of here." So yeah, they were jerks. So anyhow, I get this letter, and they said, "Yeah, we're not going to give you service anymore." I never missed a bill. The bill kept going up with Verizon for the copper landline. Did not ever. They had no reason in the world except that they were forcing us into, from analog to digital. So I contacted the Public Service Commission and the FCC again, and I heard nothing from them. And then I heard from someone, and I'm not doubting that it's true, that, who is it? The FCC got a new CEO or whatever, and he took a huge bribe from Verizon to shut his mouth. The reason this was an issue about 6 years ago is because, in particular, in Oneonta, New York, which is very mountainous and very, very rocky. People live literally on top of rocks up there. They built foundations out of them, kind of like down Fort Montgomery where I grew up, but not Fort Montgomery wasn't as rocky as Oneonta. So they could not. They lost all their service during that time. This is going back 6 years ago when I was doing all this research to find out why I was being screwed over, and they lost they Verizon turned off their copper landlines because they wanted to switch everybody, forcing everybody, no choices. You're just going to get BIOS whether you like it or not. They couldn't get through the bedrock because they were running all the lines on the ground, and the bedrock was just destroying their equipment. They didn't have the right equipment for it. So they said, "Okay, well, we're just going to abandon this project." And these people are just shit out of luck. So they all were forced to get cell phones, or some of them already had them, but they didn't depend on them. Now they had to depend on them. So what happened was, where they were situated, there weren't enough cell towers around at the time. There were no cell towers around at the time, and they could not pick up a signal. I mean, it was kind of like what I was putting up with this year, where I would have to take all of my stuff in a book bag, get in the car, and drive to the library or Starbucks and hook up to their Wi-Fi. So I don't know whatever happened in Oneonta. That was about 5 years ago, and the woman who I was talking to about it, she kind of faded away. I lost contact with her. That's what I heard about Verizon. You think that's fine? I live very near there. Jefferson Einstein, you live near Oneonta? New York, I'm about hour and a half south of that down the Hudson River. I miss Tom. Tom Ritter says I miss orgies too. Oops. Oh, what am I doing? I didn't mean to do that. I did. No, 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 no. I didn't mean to do that. What the hell? Okay. All right. Don't touch anything. This device is so new. It's very sensitive. I'm trying to scroll and I almost ended up. Oh, here we go again. Oh, whoa. Oh. I just learned a new thing. Oh, how cool. Okay. So we're going to do that and we're going to put this up because now I found a new toy. Okay, Burnaby says too expensive for the area. AT&T and Sprint, T-Mobile are the big carriers here. Yeah, they build a monopoly. They come in and they buy each other out. They bribe each other. You know, contracts are made and broken. And same thing happens around here because you can't, like, say, 8 miles down the road, they have Frontier, right, for internet service. And where I am, 8 miles back up the road, is Spectrum, which I will not have anything to do with. You can't combine it in the area. Like I can't say, okay, screw you, Spectrum. I'm going to use Frontier because they're like paying each other off. It's just so stupid. I'm just trying to catch up on here. Too expensive for the area. AT&T. Oh, I already read that. Hello, Irene. How's it going, you guys? So, like the title says, "Twas the night before New York regular season." Once again, for the second year in the row, I'm not going out because Charlie, my hunting partner, had all the equipment, and I've got bills, so I just don't have a small game. That's one thing, but I can't outfit myself. Sounds sad, but okay. I think I'm all. Oh, you got to go. Oh, Mark left. Mark left at 7:19. Have a good dinner, Mark. Hope it's a good one. Thanks for coming in. Kind of missed you because I was busy yakking. So, what does everybody have planned for Thanksgiving? A family dinner? Staying home? Going to someone else's house? I'm not really doing much anymore. Pretty much everybody in my family's dead. Well, that's because my parents were a generation apart from me. So, oh yeah, Tom. Yeah, they came to New York and made everybody pay for the worst service in the world. A shame. Yeah, so my parents being a generation older than me, it's yeah, everybody dies when you're in your 30s, basically, or 30s, 40s. So basically, it's just me and my brother. He's my closest relative. My cousins are across the river, but they have their own thing going on. I've got Jennifer up in Ithaca, but she's a very, very private person. And oh, hey, Morgan, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in tonight. Talking about Thanksgiving plans. And tomorrow is the first day of New York regular deer season, firearm. Yeah, so back to the family woes. My brother, he probably ate for me to say this, but this is the first time in my brother's life I've ever known him to be single. I'm actually pretty proud of him. That's a good thing. He's very happy with it. He's very comfortable. And he got rid of the house and he said, you know what? I don't miss it one bit. He said, because every time I'm married, I've got lawns to deal with, I've got snow to clear, I've got repairs. He said, I love living in an apartment. He lives in a really nice complex, not too far from here. So at the beginning of November, I happened to see him at the convenience store and say, hey, Tom, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? I said, I don't know. He said, I got an invite from somebody from work, but I don't know what he's going to do. Tom says I gotta put this up because I can't see it. I love that What do you call these? What do you call these things? Can't think of what it. Logo. That's a nice one. Yeah. Yep, Tom. I know what you're talking about. Lost my mom at 36, and because they were born in the 20s, but other things had happened too. But unfortunately, lost my dad at 10. That sucked because he was part of the old school. That old world craftsman. Knew everything, knew the solution to everything. Boy, did he work on some shit. He worked on Indian Point. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but Indian Point is a nuclear reactor in Buchanan, New York, not too far south of me. It was the first model for all the nuclear facilities around the world. Hey, Survival LT, Survival LT. Thanks for coming in. Oh, really, Scott? Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it would have been nice to have them around and take care of them in their old age because I noticed, especially with daughters and mothers. I don't know, Joy, if you're still in here, you might understand this, but there's a strange relationship between mothers and daughters. It's either it's good, but it can be volatile, and I'm not sure why. I mean, not in an abusive way, but just it's kind of funny. But I noticed when I hit my 30s, my mom and I became friends. I miss that. Boy, they were funny people. What a bunch of characters they were. And in fact, at one point, I still do some property management, and I was working for Wendy Lindbergh, and yes, that was Charles A. Lindbergh's granddaughter. And I got some stories to tell about that, but I'm gonna zip it for now. So while I knew her, this is going back to the early 2000s. She was watching her grandmother Anne Morrow die over in Connecticut, and so her mother Reeve Lindbergh was kind of back and forth, and she was writing a book. She wrote a book about her mother called No More Words, and I have a signed autograph copy. But Reeve and I talked a lot about that, about the mother-daughter relationship, and how just oddball. I can't really say it's a negative thing because my mom was cool as hell. She was tough as nails and independent as the day is long. But yeah, Reeve had coined it really well. She was really good with words. She had her mother's talent for words. But yeah, I should pick up that book. It might be in there. It's on my shelf. I'll never get rid of it because I was actually invited to go to Connecticut to meet Anne Morrow during this time. But I just kind of felt like, this is like the most famous family in the world. Do I really want to? I'm just not a leech. I appreciated their friendship. I appreciated the work that they gave me because, I mean, Wendy was all over the place. She was either in Antrim, Ireland, or she was down in Connecticut, or she was down here in the Hudson Valley or New York City. So there was the house was always left alone. It had to be taken care of just in case disaster struck. But I just didn't see the point in going to see her. The woman was not in very good shape. Excuse me, she was dying. And I just thought it would be better to mind my own business for the most part. I just felt like I would be in the way. So what's going on? The guys back then were tough, no doubt. Oh my goodness. Yeah, my dad was a waist gunner in 1943 until the end of World War II and a B-17. And, I have a Facebook page likes for the, fans of the B-17 and things like some of these pictures and some of this footage that these guys come up with. Yeah, that I am so I'm just so I cannot express in words how impressed I am by the B-17 because my God, my dad did 50 missions and I brought him back every time. That is That is incredible. Joy says, sadly, I was 8 when we went to live with my grandparents. My mother was put. Joy, I understand what you're talking about. In fact, I was just talking with my neighbor down the road. He's having some issues with the Hasidim. We have a big Hasidic community not too far from me, and I'll give those people credit for one thing. They learn how to beat the system, but uh, and they do everything illegal, and they are not afraid of federal prison. Excuse me. But my neighbor is down the street. He lives up same environment as mine. He lives up off a back road. There was a house back up the street away from him. It was like a businessman's bungalow, but it was a big spread. I mean, this guy was a big businessman. He's long gone now, and the kids sold the property. But I mean, it's got like 8 bedrooms. It's got an indoor pool. It was meant to entertain prospective clients or whatever. I don't know what his business was. So lo and behold, the hysterics get a hold of it. And so my neighbor, he's like, wait a minute. Now he comes from Rockland County, down around the Spring Valley area, where the Hasidim have completely taken over. Everything they do down there is illegal too, and they get away with it. So he recognized what was going on. So he started to do some reconnaissance, and he was talking to a woman who lives actually just up the street from me, who I went to school with, and he wanted to know a little bit more about her. Now she's county legislator, and she's helped him a lot with this, and he just wanted to know a little bit about her. So I said, "Oh no, she's fine." I said I went to school with her. We were on the same basketball team together in grade school. We were called the Robinettes, and her father just disappeared at one point. There were 8 of them, typical Irish family, and I don't mean that in the bad way. I mean that in the best way. I'm Irish too. But he disappears, and mom's left with everything with 8 kids. And I remember when I was in like 6th or 7th grade, that was like 1977. Um, my mom had told us, they said, everybody would tell us, just be nice to this woman. She was certifiably insane. I don't mean this as a insult. She actually was certified insane. And I went to Catholic school, and she would get up on the altar to talk about the Playboy books that were in the convenience store. She had a point. But she would just get up when she felt like it. And my senior Rosso was usually the priest doing the mass, and he would just give her the floor, because there was no point in making her life any harder. So she would come up and say her thing. She didn't do it all the time, but yeah, I know what that's like. And I think she passed away some years ago. She was, I mean, 8 kids. I think she was older than my parents. I think she might have been born in the teens, because the youngest, the one I was just talking about, the Orange County legislature, she was a grade ahead of me. So a little bit of a difference there. Let's see, we're 39 minutes into this, and I still got 5 listening to my crap. So back to Thanksgiving. What's everybody's plans? Catholic school was great education, but I'm still afraid of nuns. Really, Joy? Well, I think you might be you would have been like my upperclassmen, I think. Not by much, though, but I got lucky. We really did. In the 70s, when I went to Catholic school, they were Dominican sisters, and they treated us like human beings. They were great. They were really, really nice. I think she was a Jesuit when I was in Sacred Heart in Highland Falls. Her name was Sister Theophan. And I grew up on a mountain with a brother, and that was it. It was just me and my brother. So I'm out there in my Catholic school dress, hanging upside down from a tree branch. And she called me in, and did not want. Tom, you're terrible. Yeah, she just said, "Well, I'm pushing 60, Joy." So I'm not exactly a spring chicken. I think the age difference might be the same, like with my cousins. They're in their early to mid 70s now, something like that. I invented the rock. You, I'd like to see a video on that. Yeah. So anyhow, they were great. In fact, I don't know. I don't think I ever told the story in a live stream before. This whole Catholic Church thing with the priests. Let me tell you something about that. Back in 1974, now I was in fourth grade. Um, there was a priest who came to St. Thomas. His name is Father John. He was good looking. He was young. He was very friendly, and he rode a bike, and he got everyone's attention. So we noticed, my three girlfriends and I, we started to notice that he started to separate the crowd. He separated the girls from the boys just in talking. You know, he didn't just say, you need to go here, you need to go there. He just stopped talking to them. And then we noticed he was only talking to the boys in our class, in our fourth grade class. And then we noticed that he only seemed to be talking to the what we consider the good-looking boys. So we mulled this over and mulled this over. Now remember, we were in fourth grade, and they say that kids are not smart enough to catch this. No, something was creepy about Father John all of a sudden. And so we mulled it over, and we decided we really believe that something's very wrong with this guy. So we went to go see Sam. That's Sister Ann Michael. We used to call her Sam. She didn't mind. She was cool about it, as long as we didn't overdo it. And she sat there with her typical stern look. Not that she was stern, but she just had that look. She was listening and concentrating. So we told her what we observed. She said, "Thank you, girls. Go back to class." We were like, "Oh, shoot. We're in a lot of trouble. We probably shouldn't have said anything. We're probably wrong." Well, the next day we go into school. Sister Ann Michael comes in the class and she says, you four girls, would you please come down to the office?" We were like, "Oh boy, we're dead. We're dead." We walk into her office, and there's Monsignor Rosso. Now, Monsignor Rosso was a Navy chaplain. He was in World War II. He saw a lot of action. He saw a lot of life. There wasn't anything that would really faze him. So he's sitting there with a smile on his face. He always had one of those perpetual smiles. And he said, "Girls, tell me what you know." So we told him everything that we observed. And he said, "Thank you very much." That day, Father John disappeared. We never saw him again. Years and years later, must have been 20 some years ago, I'm down in a deli in town. And one of the boys who was in Father John's sights back in 1974 was in line in front of me. Now, this is 20 years ago, so it's like, 40 some years later. He turns around to me out of the blue and he says, "I'll never forgive you, so and so, so and so, and so and so for what you did to Father John." Well, we all know what happened with the Catholic Church and all this abuse, right? Well, as far as I was concerned, when I heard that, I was like, well, we caught one. Why couldn't anybody else? So this guy turns around, he gets all spiteful. I was like, yeah, whatever. Well, I thought about it. I called my brother because he was an altar boy at the time, at the same church during the same time span. And I said, "Tom, what do you remember about that?" And this is exactly what he said to me. He said, "Monsignor Rosso took Father John to his cabin in the Adirondacks, shot him, and buried him." Navy chaplain, so lots of action. So what I'm going to say is this is for entertainment purposes only, but that's the way it goes. Oh, here's some Thanksgiving plans. Let's see. Scott Rapper, right? Scott. Thanksgiving plans, whatever we make, we eat, give thanks, and that's it. I kind of miss the big family thing, but I sort of like it quiet. I usually go hunting the last couple of years on Thanksgiving and on Christmas too, because I really don't do that anymore. Everybody's kind of, few and far between. They're doing their own thing. So we don't make a big deal out of it. I do miss going to Holly, Pennsylvania, though. That was where my mom retired in her last years. I used to love that. I mean, coming from New York, going west over Route 84, it was literally over the river and through the woods to Grandma's house we go. And my brother had young kids at the time, and and it was fun. Man. It was fun to get up on 84, up on top of the mountains there, and then slide down Route 590 into what was it? Yeah, into Hawley by Lake Wallenpaupack. That was a lot of fun. What a beautiful place. She lived in a gated community out there, which wasn't really gated. It had a homeowners association. I should take another ride out there. I haven't been out there in a while. And while I'm out that way, Tom, I should get a hold of you and go have a cup of coffee with you. Scott says, we might fish then hunt. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Tom says, good for the Monsignor. Yeah, and he died like a year after that. Terrible case of, I think it was prostate cancer. I can't remember. I mean, I don't know. They didn't tell us every detail. You know, we were too young for that, but we weren't too young to scope out this predatory priest. I guess, you know, 'cause he was a nice guy. Maybe they didn't want us to get upset, but yeah, he kind of went quick. But then chemo and radiation back then, I don't even know if they had did they have radiation back then in the 70s? I think they did. It was, I mean, it's brutal now, but it was sadistically brutal back then. It was like an experiment. Tom says, I don't like the big family thing. We have 10, 12 people here, 10 hours cooking, 20 minutes to eat, and then 7 hours of dishes. Yep, that's basically it. Wow, you should. Yeah, yeah, you're on like the north side of Scranton, I believe, which looks like a pretty nice area. Yeah, Hawley was a lot of fun to go to. It's too bad Mom didn't live longer. That was a really nice place. She custom built the house herself. She was good about that stuff. She really knew what she wanted. But she kind of built it like a fortress. I sold it. But she kind of built it like a fortress. There were windows in the front, and there was a really nice front door, but it was set back in an alcove. It wasn't the most welcoming house. And she had a big garage door in the front, and she looked out over a lake. But you entered the house from the garage side, which looked like the front, but yeah, it wasn't really open. The back of the house was open. She had a fireplace, and when she first moved there, I think it was in 1990. You couldn't get oil out there. You remember that, Tom? I think I don't know. Maybe Scranton had oil, home heating oil, but Hawley, Pennsylvania did not in 1990. And my mom was very careful about it, using it. And then as soon as they got oil, she's like, put that oil in the house. I'm not dealing with this electric crap. But no offense to anybody in Pennsylvania, but I remember when we first went down, my brother saw a PP&L, and he says, what's that stand for? Pennsylvania Power and Electric? It stands for Pennsylvania Power. What does it stand for? Tom, what does PP&L stand for? See, now I'm busy being a wise guy. What is PP&L? PP, Pennsylvania Power and something. PP&L. I guess they're out of Allentown. What does it stand for? PPL Electric. I guess it does stand for Pennsylvania Power and Electric. Sorry, I can't resist. So what's going on? Wow, you should. Yep. Okay. I used to fish. Yeah, power and light. I think electric sounds better, don't you? Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Power and Electric. I shouldn't say that. I know some nice people who live there. Tom, Greg, Todd Arnold. Used to fish the Lackawaxen at the bridge in Hawley. It was great. Really? Wow. Did you ever see the old dugout canoe that's by the visitor center near off 590, I think, by the off of Lake Wallenpaupack in Hawley? It's a real dugout canoe, and it washed up during a hurricane. And what's so cool about it is the before they dammed it for the lake for PP&L, Pennsylvania Power and Electric, they there was a series of streams and such. Sorry, I keep tripping over my words. Like, almost like main arteries of streams and stuff, and the dugout canoe was used in it, and it came from that end where the feeder streams were when it came washing in during that hurricane. And yeah, what a great find. The thing sits there in a great big cage, so nobody can touch it. You know the area? Oh yeah, Scott. Tom knows. He knows it real well. Now, Tom, you don't have to answer me if you don't want to, but did you grow up in Pennsylvania? I grew up in New York, and I admit it. Give me a second. Still paying attention. I'm here. Big browns in the river this time of year. What do you use, Tom? Hey, Gio. How you doing, Greg? I had a tuna wrap for dinner, since you asked. And I was running late tonight, so I wolfed that down. I had a salad, and then now I'm having coffee and the rest of my cannoli, because I'm a New York gal and I gotta have my cannolis. Yeah, I grew up. Oh, Mount Cobb. Okay. Mount Cobb, Pennsylvania. Sometimes I get lazy and I don't want to type. Whenever anybody talks about where they are, where they're going in a video, I always got to look it up. I just love, like, who was it who said it before? I think it was Burnaby. He said logistics. I love logistics. Yeah, Jefferson Einstein said it. Yeah, I just love to see where different things are. I don't know, just, but but the Earth is flat, so I'm just kidding. I don't really mean that. Oh my God, look at my hair. I have like ears. Oh, so I whacked my eye pretty good. See, it's all swollen and it's bloodshot. It's been so messed up, man. Serious friggin' eye trauma. But I look at it like this: if I can stop it from bleeding, or I can push it back in, I'm not going to go to the doctor. I'm not too worried about it. So, oh, that's only an hour and 29 minutes from me. Mount Cobb, Pennsylvania, that is. Yeah, so I kind of feel a little bit of pressure. I did it on Monday when I made that video. No, I didn't fall. The video was of the new hunting area, and I walked into a tree branch, and I could feel it, and I froze, and I could feel it right on my eyeball. I was like, "Oh, don't do that." So I froze, and then the next second I moved back. But it hit me hard enough where it caused some trauma. I'm okay. I can see out of it just fine. Just my eyeball is like, it'll start twitching, and I can feel the muscle spasm. And it's like it's saying, "Would you put an eye patch on me and give me a chance to take a break, please?" But really, by rights, I should be resting right now. But I want to talk to everybody. I got my new devices. Oh yeah, Greg, I changed my service, my internet provider. I switched to Verizon because I'm not gonna get anything in the house. There's no reason to. I may not be staying here. I have like a 5-year plan. I want to get move in and do something different, and I just I don't want to get into it because our the company that provides the internet here is called Spectrum, and I it used to be Time Warner, and I think they just changed their name because they just suck all around, and I just don't want to get into it. So I got a new tablet and I got a new phone. I got a new carrier. Hey Ramsey, how you doing? No, unfortunately, I'm not ready for tomorrow because the equipment went with Charlie a couple of years ago. He carried everything. He had the big truck. I'm not stuffing a dead deer in the back of my SUV. I'm sorry. Call me a wimp. Call me whatever you want. I'm not doing it. No matter how clean I get it. I mean, trust me, I've given this a lot of thought. So, Greg, check it out. Look at what I got. Now, I had an old. This is the Samsung Z Flip, and I had an old Samsung that was about 5, 6 years old, and it was running out of everything, running out of life, just falling apart. This was an even trade, and I figure if I'm going to use it for work, pay attention to what you're doing, dummy. Not you guys. I'm talking to myself. If I'm going to use it for work and I'm going to use it for online classes, I'm going to go with the Cadillac phones, and so this is the new one. Pretty cool, huh? It's a flip. It's not an original flip phone, which probably if you got one, what, 20 years ago, it's probably still charged. But yeah, the iPad that I was using was running out of room. Yeah, I like them. You know, when I was telling a friend that I was going to get one of these, she goes, "Here, let me turn it off so you can see it." You see that in there? She said, "It's going to split." So what are you talking about? They've been on the market for like 4 years now. If they were splitting like that, I don't think so. But we'll see. You know, the phone is covered, and of course, it's lavender. It's got to be lavender. But it is so wonderful to sit here and do my homework. And there are so many emails, and there's some of my intern work that I had to catch up on. And oh my God, I mean, it was just falling behind to the point where I was embarrassed by it. And I'm sitting here in my kitchen, and there's no buffering circles. It's such a great feeling to just get it done. And the sad part is, Sprint was like that back before June when T-Mobile took over. It wasn't perfect, but it was a lot better than when T-Mobile took over. And I know we just had that conversation, but I still hate T-Mobile. So, sound like my wife there. Oh, what, Tom? Over the color? Hey, a girl's got to be a girl. I love my colors. And of course, I had to get the sparkly pop socket. But that's highly functional for me because I like to keep. I had two friends who were using their GPS in their phone at night when they were driving, probably west of here, out by Milltown, something like that. And a cop saw the light on in the car and said, "Oh, that's a device on in the car." But I'm using it for the directions, they told the officers, but they both got tickets. So I kind of had that in mind. And so the pop socket sits at a low profile. I can hang it low in the car so that it's not as noticeable. And then I can turn down the brightness so it's not shining in my face or my glasses. So anyhow, you can also get a cell booster for it. And I don't have to now. Verizon's the bomb. I don't have to. I should have went with them, but I was talking about earlier. I got into um, sort of well, it was a potential class action lawsuit instigated by the FCC and the Public Service Commission about 6, 7 years ago. because they were trying to force everybody and out of the indomitable copper landlines and into all of this stuff and the BIOS and everything. And I just look at it like this: if I'm not going to have any choice but to use stuff like this, might as well enjoy it. So I think I just repeated myself. No, the shut up, dummy. Berating. Good. My self-service is crap in my house, man. See, it's like you and I have been, Gio. It's like we've been neck and neck with this crap for so long, and I gotta tell you, and I know you said that you kind of like live out at the end of their jurisdiction, like out in the outskirts, and I'm up on a mountain road, not mountainous, but I'm like in a valley, but way up off the road. But it shouldn't be that hard. They want everybody to have this to make it available. I'm not going to go into it. I've bitched about it enough before. So, Ramsey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? We were just talking about that earlier. That goes for you too, Geo and Survival LT. You must divulge your plans tonight. Oh, and I was saying earlier, no fire tonight because we're getting like 20 to 25 wind gust out there, and I don't want you people to have to see me burn to death if I catch on fire. Oh my God, Scott, the moon was awesome the last couple of nights. I would say the last 3 nights. We have this. It's kind of a famous overlook in on the road going to. It's the old mountain road going to West Point, and there's a spot on it called High Point, and it's just a wide open rock face and road, and you got the river directly below you, and nothing but open sky, and you got the mountains across the river, and the moon was rising over Mount Taurus, and I posted it on my timeline on Facebook, and oh my God, it was just glorious. And then tonight, I have some. I guess you could call it a client. I have a client who's away, and they're going to be gone for an extended period of time. So I'm taking care of their property, and I got a really nice picture from their balcony of the moon tonight. It's gorgeous, just gorgeous. But anyhow, yeah, I'm not doing a fire tonight because of the wind. I don't want to have to set the yard on fire. Although if I set myself on fire and the yard on fire, that might end up becoming a viral live stream, I guess. Probably make me famous. If I don't have a deer, I'll be in the bow stand. My family does it this weekend, but big surprise, I'm at work. Oh yeah, yep. Still super busy. And with that in mind, Ramsey Country, thank you for coming in because I know your time is precious. You got a family. I don't. I ain't got nothing else to do. So. Well, I'm doing all my catching up, man. Oh, and Greg, I got a new tablet too because my iPad was starting to run out of room. Every time I went into something and I needed to download another file, I was like, please handle it. Please handle it. Just a couple more files, just 10 more files. So Geo Outdoors says, you know what? I can do this. I learned how to do this tonight. I'm becoming a real techie. We were having family in from Rhode Island, New England towns, man. There's nothing like New England. And have Thanksgiving dinner here. Then we go hunt. Oh, that's nice. Going hunting on Saturday. Got to take the rifle to the range tomorrow. Oh yeah, cool. Gio, how's Betty doing? How's your wife? She had an injury the other day. Oh, archery is done today. We're still in it. Tomorrow is New York regular. Ramsey's saying good evening to Joy. We're keeping Scott out of trouble. You keep Scott. Scott's cool. Pushing buttons like boxing. Back 30 years, Tom Ritter said, okay, let's see what he says. I can do this now. That's so cool. Back 30 years ago, I was coming home from Connecticut. Hit the bridge and I stopped dead. The moon hung in the valley, even lit up some colors. Oh, Tom, yeah, it was like that tonight. It really was. We had some spotty cloud cover, but it just illuminated the clouds from the back, and it was just beautiful. Really nice. And you could see color. You could see some fall leaf color. Even I was in like the southernmost end of Newburgh, almost New Windsor, and I could look across the river to where like I don't know if you would remember it probably. Well, actually looking up river towards the bridge. I know which bridge you're talking about. You're talking about Rockefeller's Folly. That's the new Beacon Burger. It's the Newburgh Beacon Bridge, also known as Rockefeller's Folly, because it was built fast and it wasn't adequate enough. And then they had to build another span. And I had a friend many years ago who, well, maybe a little dyslexia or something was the issue, but he used to call it the New Beacon Burger, which I think is really funny. She's doing great. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. That's terrific. Good. Falling down is no fun. It really isn't. Falling out of a tree is no fun either. I've snagged 3 times tonight. I was done. Oh, yeah, with the fishing. You're dragging the bottom there. Ours comes in next week. Our bow season runs until February 6th, so we have a lot of season. Ramsey, this year. Oh, that's my new notification tone. Sorry, I turned it off on the tablet. I forgot to turn it off on the phone, but it's pretty. Come on, recognize my finger, you stupid thing. New York, in its infinite wisdom, came up with a holiday hunt this year, statewide. That benefits Southern Zone. Southern Zone is very large. It goes from the Southern Tier, which is the New York, Pennsylvania border, north of that, a little bit north of that, and it's like from Binghamton and below Albany south to Rockland, but not Westchester, because Westchester is a very busy county, and you can only bow hunt there. Well, no, I shouldn't say. Well, as far as the Southern Zone goes, the holiday hunt goes until January through Christmas to January 1st. And Bill Sedgos, who is the game, what the hell? What do you call it? He's the head honcho for the Game Commission in New York. Has been for a while. Has come up with some dumb ideas. He says, well, you know, a lot of hunters are on vacation and they might want to go out, take their family out, you know, whoever wants to go hunting with them for a Christmas hunt or New Year's hunt. That's a wonderful idea. The problem with that is upstate New York is having a huge problem with it because snowmobile season does not start until after the last day of regular hunting season. They can snowmobile. No, actually, okay, I don't have my book on me. I'm guesstimating. Bow season starts earlier upstate and ends earlier, but regular season pretty much runs about this. Yeah, it runs through. Of course, it goes through Thanksgiving. I think it ends like the second week of December up there. So that means in upstate New York, especially Tug Hill, Adirondacks, Tug Hill especially, finest powder east of the Rockies, almost guaranteed 300 inches a year from the lake effect because it's right off Lake Ontario. So that's huge business up there. That's an economy up there. That's important. And so I haven't heard too much of a fight about it. Even in my New York Outdoor News paper here, but there has been talk about it, and some people are not too happy. You just cannot go out on the trail. They can't groom them. You can't ride a sled out there unless you unless hunting season is over. And so, Southern Zone opening day coming up November 1st. It used to be Sunday, but it's tomorrow. It used to be the first, excuse me, I ate too fast. The first Sunday before Thanksgiving. Now they're saying in this article, this came out November 12th. This is my favorite newspaper, New York Outdoor News. It's actually printed in the office is up in Waverly, New York, on the border of Pennsylvania, just west of Binghamton. But the newspaper is printed in Minnesota, I believe. So they're saying formerly a Monday and now a Saturday, the Southern Zone opener is a hunter's holiday of sorts. Well, yes, it is, but I don't remember it being a Monday. It was always the Sunday before Thanksgiving. I don't know. Who knows? I hear you, Giovanni. More the next day, I think. What the hell did I do? Oh boy. So Scott, what did Joy say? Yeah, old and drunk sucks falling. I've been missing out on some of this. I lost my taste for alcohol about, oh my gosh, about 6, 7 years ago. I mean, I wasn't a boozer by any stretch of the imagination. I used to love my vodka martinis, like at dinner or something. But and when we went out hunting or hiking or skiing, especially, um, you always like tried to find like a new person who wanted to get into cross country skiing, because I mean we seriously did cross country. We went over, there's 2 feet of snow. We were going over boulders, you name it. We were jumping trees. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't do that. But you always found someone like a newbie to be your mule to carry the booze, because I mean you had to have cold one when you were out there. I mean it was just fun. Made it all that more enjoyable. She just got a little bruised up. Good. Well, I'm glad. I don't mean good that she got bruised, but that nothing's broken. Those bruises will heal with no problem. I hear you. I'm just catching up here. Got to lead them. Oh. So you guys are like carrying on with your own conversation. Well, I'm babbling here. And we just got our first official motorist alert. Be on the lookout for moose in upstate New York and New England. I used to go to New England every Thanksgiving. I did that for almost 10 years. And what we did there was we went to not Stockbridge. The heck is the name of that town? Van Dusenberg. Is anybody familiar with Alice's Restaurant by stupid thing? Is somebody here? Geez, I hope not. Let me just look it up. Be nosy. Oh no, it's the neighbors. No big deal. Anybody know Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie? Well, back in the actually when I was born, 1965, he got arrested in Stockbridge for taking out the garbage at the church near Stockbridge, and he ended up in jail. And he wrote a song about it. I think it's like a 17-minute song about it. It's yeah, that's a classic song. Yeah, Jefferson Einstein. So we would go up to do the soup kitchen at the church. I can't believe I can't remember. There's between Great Barrington, Massachusetts, and Stockbridge, Massachusetts, is where the church was, where Alice lived. It had been decommissioned as a church long before she lived there, and this is back in the '60s. But she, yeah, so she had this garbage. Arlo and his friend got busted for it, and then now it's the what the heck is it? It used to be an Anglican church. Now it's a soup kitchen, and they have hootenannies there. I never got to go to any of the hootenannies because they were usually during the week, like Tuesday. Oh, there's Great Barrington. Pay attention. And so every Thanksgiving we would go. We would book the I think it was the Comfort Inn in Great Barrington, and we would go up Thanksgiving morning really early, drive up through Connecticut. We would take Route 7, which Route 7 is like the main. It's like the old-fashioned highway. Um, they have the Massachusetts Turnpike goes east to west, but seven is like for the Western Berkshires. That's like the main road. Takes you all the way up into Vermont. There's Stockbridge. How come I'm not seeing the little tiny church? So anyhow, yeah, we would go up there, and it was catered by the a deli in town. Man, did they make an amazing turkey dinner! So we would go up early. We drop our stuff off at the Comfort Inn in Great Barrington, and then we would head up to. And I still can't find. Oh, yeah, Van Duzenville, the Guthrie Center, which was the Anglican Church, and now there's the Granville House next to it. Looks like it's a bed and breakfast or something. I haven't been up there in a few years. But yeah, we did that for ages, and oh boy, did we work. And Arlo would show up once in a while. He was big guy, real big guy. Oh, Heath is here. Hi, Heath. How you doing? I'm here yakking away. I'm talking about Arlo Guthrie and Alice's Restaurant, and I've got a little experience with that because I'm talking about the church in up near which is in Van Duzenville, Massachusetts. But the story, Alice's Restaurant, was actually in Stockbridge, which isn't hers anymore. It is somebody else's, and it's named something else. But there's a small plaque outside near the sidewalk that says this was the site of Alice's Restaurant. Just just a half a mile from the railroad tracks. So yeah, I'm babbling. But anyhow, we would go to the church, and a lot of times it snowed. Beautiful. There's nothing like Thanksgiving in New England. It's absolutely beautiful, especially when you're at a soup kitchen and you're helping people out. So it would snow. We'd bring the big SUV, and we would go out and pick people up. And Arlo would come down once in a while. And like I was saying, what a big guy! I didn't think he was such a big guy. He's like 6'5", really tall guy in the hair. And I remember the first year I was there, he would always. It was a tradition for him to get up on stage and talk with the people there, um, and just wish them a happy Thanksgiving. And I'm busy running around. It was like pie time. And I've got these big trays, and I'm running in and out with pies, and I'm trying to clear some of the dinner dishes off the tables. And I happen to glance up, and I'm like, who's that great big guy with all that hair? And then I realized it was Arlo Guthrie. And then for the anniversary of when it happened, in 1965, he was there, and he was there with his family. They came down a snowstorm that put the power out up on the mountain up in Stockbridge, and I served him dinner, and he's just a heck of a nice guy. I heard he had a stroke not too long ago, so he's not touring anymore. And after he finished, after he would finish with the soup kitchen on Thanksgiving in Van Duzenville, Massachusetts, he would head to Florida. What does Gio say? I have a buddy nicknamed Arlo, since he looks like Arlo Gunfrey. Yeah, there's that side of it, Gio. Now, this guy I was with, he was enamored by the whole story, and I don't know. I thought it was he was having a psychotic episode most of the time. But I thought it would be fun. It would be a fun experience to do. I really enjoyed it. And you didn't hear any of the snowflake rhetoric when you were up there. I mean, it was just all about Massachusetts is a highly socialistic state. Highly socialist. Disgustingly. They should be ashamed of themselves. But anyhow, that's the way it is. I can't go change it all by myself. But I did enjoy doing it because, like I said, there was nothing like Thanksgiving in the Berkshires. And then, once all that was over with, we would go to the Red Lion. And I don't know if anybody in Stockbridge, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Norman Rockwell paintings, but there's the famous panoramic that he did of basically what the I have a magnet up here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 6 buildings on the main drag in Stockbridge, and Norman Rockwell did a painting of that in winter. And that was the one year that the Red Lion was closed. And the Red Lion is like one of these great big old early 19th century hotels that just moves with you as you walk through it. It's so well worn and it's so well built, and it's settled a long time ago. But we would go up there and have a drink by the fire, hang out with the Red Lion Hotel cat, and I called them. Oh yeah, yeah, massholes. You get yep. They sure are. You ever drive through Boston? Oh, Boston. What I love about Boston is every traffic sign is a suggestion. Yeah, lights red. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Stop sign there. Maybe you'll stop, maybe you won't. So I never had an accident though, but I went up there after they built that tunnel. And I mean, I don't know if anybody saw iRobot with Will Smith, and he was in the self-driving Audi, and he had to switch to manual because the robots were attacking him. And it was this huge wide tunnel, and he had to get off it. The exits were like 6 lanes over on the right, and we're driving through, and I don't use my GPS. I use the map because that makes more sense to me. I don't want to listen to her because the voice on the GPS actually had me trying to do an illegal U-turn off the FDR in New York City. I was like, I'm never listening to this again. So I read the map. I love maps anyways. Again, I love logistics. And I was in my friend's old Honda with her. The muffler was soon to fall off up in Salem. But before that happened, we're driving along with a busted engine mount. and it was one of those deals where you just whip the wheel, and everybody's used to driving in total mayhem and chaos up there. It just seemed to work. Yeah, seen that a lot. All road, no car. Oh, yeah, yeah. So I didn't worry about whipping the wheel too much. What are we doing here? I learned a new technical trick tonight. I was sitting at my app this spring, big sliding glass doors. We looked out there. It was on flying by. What a sight. Rift and snow. The heaters broke. The radio. It's okay. Did I miss something here? I had to go through Boston. This is so much easier. I had to go through Boston when I was delivering up to Caribou. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, I bet you did. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot of history there. Hell of a lot. But I don't know. There's a lot of crap there, too. Went to Plymouth Rock at one point. Did you know that Plymouth Rock, the actual physical Plymouth Rock has not existed for decades because everybody went up there over the years and took a piece of it. There is no such thing as the real Plymouth Rock. I crossed the Mason-Dixon once. They all are ate up. Sounds like your car there. Scott Swift says, in Iowa on the Mississippi, you can see hundreds. Hundreds of what? What? I missed something here. No, Tom Rich says, I hate Boston. Yeah. I went up with a friend because she was afraid to drive. We stayed in, it's where John Adams lived, where Quincy. I think it's Quincy. We stayed at a hotel there. Yeah, it's some serious kamikaze driving up there. It's worse than the Garden State Parkway. Oh, yeah, Quincy, Massachusetts. We stayed there and drove in, and that's why I was talking about Plymouth Rock because I remember we stopped by. I was like, yeah, I want to see it, and then I found out it doesn't actually exist. In fact, I'm looking at the traffic map right now from Quincy to Boston, and I mean it's just backed up for miles. I wonder what's going on up there. Huh, who knows? That could be a glitch or something. All right, one minute. Yeah, oh, Eagles? Yeah, Scott, when I lived in upstate New York, near the Delaware River, we had them everywhere. I mean, they were like vultures all over the place. Um, Jefferson, Einstein. We were talking about bald eagles for a second because I saw three flying together yesterday at work, which I thought was rare. That is. That were they all adults? Jefferson Einstein, you know what they look like, right? Well, the adults have the blazing white head and tail, and they don't get that until 4 years, till they're about 4 years of age. You know what I saw, and I didn't this past spring. I do was it the spring? No, it was the winter because they cycle differently. Their breeding season is different than songbirds or migratory birds because they live for all the time, kind of like an owl. The owl will have babies in the winter or in the fall, and the the I call them Mr. and Mrs. Eagle, the eagle couple who's about 3 miles from me along the creek out here. They had 9 years to get the white tail and no, Scott, I no, that's not no, it's 4 years. It's definitely 4 years, not 9 years. They can live a long time. In fact, the pair that's out here, they got to be pushing 20 now. I think the oldest one on record. Jeez, they just okay. Squirrel. I'm getting distracted. Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to film it, but they were out over the Hudson River and they had their talons locked and they were spinning, and they're breeding. Um, dance in the air. It was just incredible. I was like, I can't film it because I'm in a rush. I got to get going. Oh, they were all adults. Yeah, that is kind of unusual. Up along the Delaware, it's so funny. I have a friend who still lives up there in Kenosha. If you're ever up that way, it's called Delaware Delicacies. His name is Ray Turner, and he's the eel man. And he has a great product. He smokes fish for the Great Lakes fishermen who come down, and he does the trout, and of course he does the eel. Eel is delicious. Um, No, Scott, that's not true. That if that's what you're saying, that it takes 9 years for them to get the white head and tail. No, no, definitely not. Good, because that's a fact I've known my whole life. It's about 4 years. Um, yeah. So Ray is up there. Oh yeah, go up and hang out at Ray's house, and you watch the adults dealing with because the immature are following them around. Learning from them, stealing from their parents and their elders, and they're like just falling out of the trees, and you could see the look, you can see the parental look on the adult bald eagles, and they're just like kids. So what's going on? This was in Arkville. Oh, Arkville, yeah, Arkville's a nice area. That's right. That's High Point. Was that the high point for the heck railroad was that? Delaware and Ulster? Oh my God, my memory fails. Hmm. No, it's I know it. I'll put my money on it. It's nine. No, not 9 years. It's four. It's always been four. Yeah, that was the one. Delaware, was it Delaware and Ulster that went through there? Jefferson, Einstein? The Hawley actually has these. That's good. Well, I can remember back in the late 60s, uh, of course, I lived in Fort Montgomery, within 50 miles of New York City. Well, New York City had nothing else to do but to pack a lunch and get their rifles and come up to our neck of the woods and shoot the bald eagles. And DDT did a big number on them. They softened their eggshells, and so when they sat on them, they were crushed. And that was only part of the story. But I can remember one day the phone rings. We were at home up on the mountain, and my dad answers it, and he says, "Okay." We didn't really pay attention. He hangs up, and he says, "Come on, kids, we're going for a ride." So we hopped in the old Ford Mercury or Pontiac or whatever he had at the time, and we drive down the mountain onto Route 9W to the Popolopen Creek overpass, right next to the Hudson there. And there's a bunch of people just having a gay old time shooting at the eagles, shooting them all down, just killing them. Kind of like people used to shoot crows and vultures, which they don't do anymore because, well, I don't know if they do where you live, but here you're gonna make a lot of people cry, which is just ridiculous. And then they wonder why there are so many huge flocks of crows, and then DC comes in and they call it, with poison or whatever. So anyhow, back to the late 1960s story, and so my dad gets out of the car. Now my dad was in World War II. He knew how to handle guns. He understood hand-to-hand combat, so he was qualified to handle this. They were city people. Usually, would have been the same generation, basically. But anyhow, this is the crux of the story. They're shooting at the bald eagles. My brother and I were very young. I have a vague recollection of it. And what my dad did was he said, "Now look, kids, I want you to stay in the back seat, and I'm going to lock you in the car. Don't get out for any reason. Don't open the door for anyone but me." So he gets out. He walks down the side of Route 9W onto the bridge overpass where the city people are shooting the bald eagles, and he starts to disarm people. Starts to take the guns away. "You don't come up here to my neighborhood with your guns and start shooting the birds out of the sky." Well, about at that point, a cop car had pulled up. A couple other, probably some of my dad's chums, pulled up, and they chased them away. But that was a pretty common thing. They did it across the river on which is Route 6. Yes, the Route 6. This is the eastern end, also called the Goat Trail. Had another really good overlook. Lots of eagles. Hudson River, it's full of fish, full of stripers, whatever. And they're shooting them over there too. They're shooting them all over the place. I think you still can. Tom Cruise used to be open season here. Yeah, I haven't looked at it because I don't really pay attention to the crows. I guess they would make good target practice. They did it one time. I was going out to the local community college here around the time that there were enormous flocks of crows in this area. They would move at twilight in the evening, and they would blacken out what light was left. And so I think I was walking from my car to my classroom, and there was a girl there sitting underneath one of these flocks, and she was writing some things down. I said, "What you doing?" She said, "Well, we're trying to figure out why there are so many crows." I said, "I can tell you why." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because nobody uses them for target practice anymore." You should have seen the look she gave me. It was like I stepped on her puppy's neck right in front of her. Well, that's the truth, you know. Open your mind. Get out of the little tiny box you live in and figure it out. So I didn't hear this for a fact. I can only guess, but we don't see those flocks anymore. And I think it's because of something the DEC did. And I think they use poison big time. Yeah, crows sure are smart. I saw a PBS, back when I had TV, PBS documentary called "A Murder of Crows." Look it up. You may still be able to find it on YouTube or something. It was a great documentary, and it had said that if a crow is killed in the spot, and I noticed when I was turkey hunting last year, there was an injured crow that was in the lane in the state land that I hunt on the way in, and when I went to set up about maybe a quarter of a mile away, all of a sudden all the crows were getting together. Now this crow was not flying at all, the one that I saw on the lane on the way in, and it looked like they were trying to. I don't know if they were trying to help him or not, but they were congregating around him. I don't know. Maybe they were murdering him. I don't. I couldn't see, but it reminded me of that documentary, A Murder of Crows, on PBS, because they said what they discovered was if a crow is killed in a certain area, the flock won't go there for 2 to 3 years. Yeah, ravens are also um, crossing with the crows too. So sometimes I'll see them up there. You can tell a lot by their sound. Fish crow has a certain squawk. Um, the raven has the grok sound, and so yeah, that they've been interbreeding for a while. BB gun time. Ravens are handsome birds, though. Did I miss anything? Oh, we still got 3 in here, and we're going on an hour and a half. Wow. It's a little easier to sit in my kitchen in front of the computer than it is to sit by the fire. Not because of the weather, but because I got to worry about the neighbors' dogs. They're junkyard dogs. Can't trust them. Bunch of nut jobs. They just didn't train them well. They're not very socialized. So we got some comments. I haven't seen a good number of crows in years here. Yeah, I think because DC or whatever you guys have down in Pennsylvania, the equivalent thereof, I think they poisoned the crap load of them. They did that with the Canadian geese about 10, 15 years ago. I mean, we were just inundated. All the parks, any place where there was a body of water. I mean, it was just it was like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, and then all of a sudden you didn't see them anymore. So I know they were up to no good. Well, maybe not no good, but they definitely got involved there and did some kind of culling. Yeah. How many constitutes a murder? I think 3. Not positive. A murder of crows. Any grouping of 3 or more, I believe. Oh yeah, here it is. 30. How old does a bald eagle live? This 25-year-old bald eagle in the wild is old, and a 30-year-old eagle is very old. Yeah, there was one. There was a bald eagle hit up on Route 17 earlier this year. Somebody on Facebook had posted it to one of the uh, photographs of the Hudson Valley or something like that, and because she didn't know what to do when she saw it, she stayed with the bird, and he didn't get crazy or anything. He stayed there. He's pretty cool, and luckily a DEC officer showed up, and lo and behold, not much longer after that, it came out in the New York State Conservationist magazine. Same situation. It didn't say, well, the one posted to Facebook, but that was that same eagle, and I believe they saved him. I think he was fine, and I believe he was banded, and he was pushing a good 30 years old. I think the fledglings, let's see, they repopulated New York with fledglings from Alaska. There was a story a number of years ago that one of these fledglings, which was banded, and this is going back to the late 70s, early 80s, that he was found. And I can't remember what the circumstances or details were, how they found this. He may have died. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, when they checked the band, they were like, "Oh my God, this is one of the Alaskan fledglings that were used to repopulate New York." Years back, we would wipe out a flock of a couple hundred. They just keep flying up. Yeah, we need to do that with the black vultures and the turkey vultures here. Can't do that. Somebody's going to have a freaking crying fit. They're all over the place. Our squirrels got knocked out this year by the raptors, the hawks. I mean, big time. I love this phone. That is so cool. I'm probably gonna break it if I keep playing with it like that. Um, yeah, oh my God, I used to have so many squirrels in the yard, and they would clean out my bird feeder, and I didn't do anything to stop it. Now I do live in the woods, but I still have neighbors, and they are snowflake neighbors, so I just can't go out there. I can go out there and pop a groundhog, maybe once, maybe twice. But I can't be shooting the shotgun at the squirrels because I just don't want to blow through that many. Well, you know, with a squirrel with a 22, I mean that thing has over a mile range. The shotgun is about 40 yards. So in my area, and there are people across the street, so I don't want to take that chance. You know, you got to shoot the squirrel on the ground, but the squirrel's going to keep moving. The groundhog's different. You know, you can kind of do him from a distance, and you're all right with that. So I never did anything about those squirrels, but the hawk sure did, and the peregrine falcon got him. Oh yeah, I mean it's like a new love, you know, and it's so pretty. I love that. I used to just get black phones, and then when I decided to get a Samsung about 5 years ago, it came in pink. I said, I want a pink phone. I gotta have a pink phone and an outer box that's clear with sparkles. Oh, okay, Tom. Yeah. You know, I didn't think about that. The DC's been hot on fishers here. They've got trail cams set up. I've seen bunches of them with like after deer season, January and February, they'll put up trail cams and somebody will donate, you know, a piece of a deer, like maybe, you know, a rib cage still has some tendons and ligaments and, you know, some blood and such on it to attract them. And they're studying them to see how far they go. They want to. They have captured some up in Black Rock Forest Preserve, which isn't far from me, and they want to see how far their range is and where they're going. Yeah, the fishers. That's a major predator. I think could have been the fox, could have been the coyote, may have been a fisher. Now we've had martins around here for a long time, and I think one of those three got into the hen house next door because one night, 2 o'clock in the morning, wow, what a ruckus it was. I mean, a fox would run off pretty quickly. They'll do a bloodbath. A coyote would be very slick, I believe. Um, and anything in the weasel or the martin family would be a bloodbath too. Yeah, they are. I don't relish meeting up with one, but they had one on the trail cam, maybe about 2 miles from me. Big animal too. I remember, must have been 10 years ago, because the DC just started baiting and filming these fishers, you know, with the deer meat and the trail cams, just in the last couple of years. But in the town of Newburgh, maybe 7 miles from here, north of me, I had a friend who was living up there within the last 10 years, and he said, I think the neighbor's cats are being chewed up by the fox and the coyote out in the swamp in the back because I hear this horrendous screeching at night. Well, I didn't think much of it. Oh, yeah, that happens. So, I didn't go any further with that. Well, he moved, and then I was driving up that way, I think to go up to Ulster County. I was going up to Route 32, and I see that this this long fisher loping across the road. I was like, aha, that's what he was hearing. He was hearing the fishers screaming in the back. That's no fun, Tom. That's no fun. That's no fun at all. Jefferson says, just the sound those things make is enough for me not to care for them. Yeah. Yeah, I had what was it, about 4 years ago? I love chronology too. I'm always going by how many years. Um I had a ton of chipmunks. I don't have an outdoor cat anymore. I'm not going to get a cat until I know where I'm going. I love animals, though, dogs too. But anyhow, tons and tons of chipmunks. Who do you think shows up on my porch one day but a beautiful little weasel? Now, this little weasel could take down a 250-pound man. So I did not open the door and try to pet him. My first thought was, I need to trap this sucker. Well, I did put out a box in the yard. Now, in New York State, if at the time I did not have my certification, but you don't need it in your own yard. Not even for weasel, not for groundhog. I think you do for the larger fur bearers, like a fox or a coyote. I'd have to look into that. But so I put the box out, put a little piece of chicken in there. Nothing happened. The chicken just got nasty, and the flies went crazy on it. And the chipmunks disappeared, and I never saw the weasel again. So I was like, two thumbs up for the weasel. He took care of my chipmunk problem. So I live in an old barn that was renovated back in the 20s, and I mean, God knows if it's got any insulation in it, but it it's just it's a home for the animals when it gets cold out. So they've been living in this house for generations and generations. But the squirrels I had out there, there's a silver maple that's really old, and it's got a bunch of knots and hollows in it. I'm surprised that thing is still standing. I call it squirrel condo. I must have seen like 5 years worth of squirrel generations in that tree, and they would just rob me blind of birdseed. Again, I didn't mind too much. But this year, all of a sudden, I noticed it's like a month went by. I'm like, there's no squirrels out here. It's because the hawks got everything. Good for them. That's the way it goes, right? At least the snowflakes will know you're armed. And yeah, that's true, Geo. But they people around here. Oh my God. Well, you know what it's like. You live around some of it too, even out in the boonies like that. People just love to get on their soapbox and get their 15 minutes of fame. They'll do whatever they can to get that. So I just try to keep it quiet. We used to be able to hunt back here when I first came here about 20 some years ago, 21 years ago. There's still some of the old tree stands back there, but nobody goes back there anymore because we're down here. Um, because I know how to do something new, I got to keep tapping it. Press those buttons. Yeah, so the martins have been here ever since I can remember. Even when I was a kid, I remember seeing the little martins dead on the road because they got run over. You think you're it for? It says 4 here, but who knows? Well, it's been an hour. It's been almost 2 hours, so maybe I should call it a night. And thanks everybody for coming in. It was great talking with you all and hearing about your Thanksgiving plans. And if anybody's going out hunting tomorrow. I don't. Your seasons. Everybody in here. Your seasons are except for Jefferson. Well, even Jefferson Einstein. He's upstate New York. It's a little bit different. Did you figure out how to share your screen? You know, Gio, I don't know if I can. What do you mean share the screen? Invite somebody in or, oh, to do like a tutorial? No, I never figured it out. I actually kind of forgot about it. Can you talk me through it right now, or is it too late? It's like 8:50 at night. It's not that late, but we all worked. Most of us had work to do today. Is that an offer for an instruction? Like I said, it's getting kind of late, and I've been on here for almost 2 hours anyways. So you know, it's really cool about this thing. I can watch videos by just setting it down like that. It's really cool, and it just I don't know if you can see the way that goes. Isn't that cool? That's awesome. Open a new tab, and I could show that. Really? How do I do that? The press, I think that because I might screw it up. I'm on a Samsung tablet. I just need to play with StreamYard. Well, Irene, Greg, it's been fun. Night all. Yep, Tom. Had a great time. Thanks for identifying that vehicle. I almost hate to press anything, Gio. I should be able. Would I back out of this or would I go down like this? No. No. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And it's late too, and I wolfed down my dinner, and now I'm getting really, really tired. Okay, so what did you say? I'll go back through, figure out, open a new tab. Just yeah, I'm just gonna have to play around with it. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Greg, Tom. Let's see, it still says 4. So somebody must have walked away. Let's see. Jefferson Einstein, thank you for coming in too. Thanks for sticking it out. All right, everybody, have a great night, and I'll see you soon. Take care.